Vaughn Radio is proud to participate with the U.S. Embassy Madrid in AULA, the largest educational fair in the land. Stop by their stand for live shows, interesting interviews, and info on how you can discover all the amazing educational opportunities that await in the USA. As American blues legend B.B. King once said, the beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it from you. We'll see you at AULA 2022 at IFEMA Madrid from March 2nd through the 6th. It's all happening at the U.S. Embassy stand, 12B10. Write it down, 12B10. Don't miss this exciting educational event.
Hello, 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 everybody. We are back for the fourth part of today's show with no name, broadcasting live from AULA at IFEMA in Madrid. We are here at the U.S. Embassy stand where it's all going down, where it's all happening. And as promised, en español decís, lo prometido es deuda. We are here with the U.S. Ambassador to Spain and Andorra. Please welcome Ambassador Julissa Reynosso.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hello. Thanks for making some time to chat with us here. I know you're busy. There are so many people that want to talk to you here and see you at this amazing event. But I wanted to, as I introduced you, one word came to mind as I was preparing this, and it was the word defensor.
Uh-huh.
Because you're, as a lawyer, as somebody who has been an advocate, la palabra defensor in English, you've dedicated your life to defending people, not just as a lawyer, but, I mean, defending the United States, abroad now, Uruguay, before that.
Yeah.
What made you decide that you wanted to get into this kind of field where you were helping people, even the underdog in many cases?
Well, so growing up in New York City, I grew up in the Bronx. I really got to see all types of things, and as a young kid, as a student, I always thought, man, really the world could be a better place for people, and a better place for people living in my neighborhood, better place for people living in the city, for the world, and it just became a natural cause for me to just really get involved in advocacy and community development, and hopefully creating opportunities for people, especially those who historically haven't had those opportunities. So that's been one of the things I've tried to do during my life.
Yeah, that's been like the common thread I saw in everything you do. You're fighting for the underdog. You're fighting for people, and I guess you saw a lot of that injustice. You saw that things could be improved, and you decided that was how you were going to do it in your life. And you've worked with Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden.
Yes.
You've worked with President Barack Obama as well. And these are some wonderful people who are really about change.
Yes.
And I'm really excited. As I said, my mother and I watched your video on the U.S. Embassy's Instagram page.
Thank you.
And we said, what a cool person. I'm not the greatest judge, but I feel like you're a wonderful person.
Oh,
and I don't even know you. And that's a beautiful thing that you come across as that way, as a mother, as somebody who's doing good for the world.
Yeah, thank you.
And you've studied at some of the greatest universities, coming from adversity, coming from being born in the Dominican Republic, growing up in the Bronx.
Yeah.
How did you decide, or how were you able to get to where you are in Harvard and Cambridge against all odds?
Well, so thankfully, I had a great family that nudged me, supported me, encouraged me to to study and to work, to learn. And obviously at the school setting, and as a high school student, I was supported by the teachers, by the counselors, by the great number of opportunities that exist in the United States. I mean, really, I can't describe how many people helped me along the way. So I had to have good grades.
Sure.
I enjoy school and working hard to learn, and those elements, and the fact that the U.S. has so many opportunities for people of all types, including people like myself that come from foreign countries or an immigrant.
Sure.
It just opened up so many places for me to study in some of the best places.
As Columbia, I mean, this is a list of the greatest universities in the United States. So when you think of an 8-year-old girl in the Bronx from the Dominican Republic going to the greatest university and reaching some of the most important positions where, as you said, you can cause change. You can be a vehicle of change.
Yes.
And that's beautiful. I want to tie it in a little bit since we're talking about universities to what advice you would give to somebody who's thinking about studying in the university in the United States.
I think the sky's the limit in terms of opportunity. There's so many different places, thousands of universities, colleges, even, community colleges, technical schools in the United States to study everything under the sun.
Right.
And there are obviously 50 states and territories in the U.S., so you can really pick your destination from cold places to warm places, rural places, urban settings, and the diversity of the United States, not only geographically, but just the people. It's a real value and enrichment that just adds to your learning experience, things you can't really capture in a book. Or in a lesson.
Sure, that other part too, the learning experience that happens outside of the classroom.
Correct.
Growing as an individual, as you said, connecting with your teachers, getting advice.
Yes.
I mean, all of those, I'm sure those conversations were key.
Yes.
Looking back now in retrospect, those teachers just guiding you in the right direction at the right moment.
Yes.
And I felt like that as somebody who went to the U.S. I always felt like I had a lot of questions, but there was always somebody with an answer for me.
Right. Yeah.
and that's can be this is a very big time in a student's life, so overwhelming, big first major decision, I guess you could say.
And also, while you were studying, I had all these opportunities to do interesting things during the summer, during spring break, internships, jobs. Research assignments, and so it's not only being in a classroom and what that provides you. It's really like the broad, complex experience of being in an American university. I went to school also in England, in Cambridge, and I had a I had a good time there. But I can tell you that my college experience at Harvard as an undergraduate was extraordinary,
right.
and I would not have. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Sure. Just like your time in New York, you said you're always talking. I mean, you've lived in Uruguay. You were the ambassador to Uruguay as well. But New York is the place where you feel like, obviously, your roots are your roots, right?
Yeah, New York
but New York formed you, really?
Yes.
Right?
New York is my city, is my community. I'm a big fan of its identity, its openness to diversity, to creativity, to innovation.
Sure.
It's a beautiful place.
It's just so unique. I always tell people when they say, "What's New York like?" I go, "I couldn't ever describe it to you in a paragraph. Never mind a sentence or two, because it's everything. It's anything you want it to be. Really, the opportunities." It's multicultural, so it teaches you from a young age. I knew to look at everybody as the same from a young age because I was with people from every continent in the world, really.
Yeah. It's like everybody, it's a nation, a city of nations.
It's its own university. So then if you go to University in New York, you have a double experience.
Exactly.
And another thing about New York is the theater. And I know you're a published writer, you're a reader, so you love the arts as well.
I do.
Well, my mom's here too. Maybe she's seen these plays. Any recommendations if we're going to the United States, like some people I know soon? Any Broadway shows?
Well, so I am... There's so many plays and musicals right now. Some of them sadly have closed, but I am always a big fan of looking for, plays written by August Wilson. It's one of my favorites, Arthur Miller. The the public theater in particular.
Sure.
In New York is my favorite place because it always has really unique experimental work. So people who, and if you get the chance to go through the summer, they also put up Shakespeare in the Park, which usually has at least 2 or 3 wonderful productions, not only of Shakespeare, but other performances and plays that are in the park, and really just fantastic.
Sure. So. It's similar to what I tell people. They say, what did I see on Broadway? I go, well, you can go see Les Miserables, Lion King, the big ones. But also, New York is full of experimental theater.
Yes.
And a lot of these shows, Tick, Tick, Boom, or some of Lin-Manuel Miranda's, those shows all started being workshopped at the public theater. Rent, I believe, was at the public theater. So really, if you want to be ahead of the game, maybe you shouldn't go to Broadway. Maybe you go to off-Broadway or off-Broadway.
Most of the main, the top successes of the last decades have started off, they mostly start off Broadway, and a lot of the kind of edgy work is in that world. So I encourage it, but obviously, look, I've seen The Lion King like 5 times.
Sure,
so,
it's a must
see. You can't get enough of The Lion King.
Have you seen Hamilton?
I've seen Hamilton at least 3 times.
I was supposed to, but we had to change our trip, and I'm finally going to see it in July.
Still there.
I'm dying.
It's going to be there for a while, I'm sure.
dying to go see it. And then also, you're a music lover, which I think that's another thing when I was looking up your bio. You're such a well-rounded, you're a person who has obviously your busy life, your work life.
Yeah.
You find time for the arts, for your family, for your doggies.
Oh, yeah.
As well. A shout out to her doggies and her son.
Yes.
As well.
Thank you.
A shout out to them. They're not here, but what is some music maybe that you would recommend? Because I love the arts. I studied the arts, so this is my.
I mean, look, I'm kind of old school, so call me
like Duke Ellington type.
I love old school. To me is like Prince.
Oh, okay. I was going really back.
But I can do some Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone.
Sure.
I'm a big Tina Turner fan. I know there's, her. There's a musical on Tina Turner in her life. It's fantastic. I love her, and she's still with us, so that's always a plus.
Right.
Etta James. Some of these soul Motown folks are really remarkable. I'm also a big fan of Spanish language music. In a lot of the folks from El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico. Anyone who's a salsa fan knows that they are the greatest, in my humble opinion, greatest salsa production ever assembled. El Gran Combo Puerto Rico from the 1970s.
Guys, write
80s.
that one down.
And obviously, everything involving Hector Lavoe, Willie Colon. Although I'm from the Dominican Republic, I am a big salsa fanatic. I just think the ensemble of the orchestration of jazz, it's a mixture of jazz and bomba plena, the Puerto Rican music.
Oh, I love
it. And frankly, classical. I just think it's beautiful. And a lot of it was initiated in New York City.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. A lot of this stuff
all those people came together and came up with this genre of music. And as a New York, fanatic, I have to. It just definitely feeds my soul.
I would have loved to have been at the Apollo Theater in the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
When you think of all, if these streets could talk.
Correct.
Harlem, the Bronx,
yes.
even Manhattan.
Yep.
I mean, some of the greatest music has come out of those streets.
They're
Tin
still
Pan
there.
Alley
They're
as
still
well.
there.
And they're still coming out of there.
We got a lot of good hip hop and reggae music and freestyle pop music coming out of New York City.
I'm very as an Hispanic person as well. I'm so happy to see we've claimed our place in the music world. Because when I was a kid, it was just rock, and I like that.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that it's been globally accepted now. Well, it's a mix, as you said. You'll find salsa. They use different elements, but I think it's a wonderful thing to see it on the rise, the Latino culture. And I'm sure you'll agree, coming from having the roots that you have as well.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And it's funny too, because a lot of times I didn't have this in the question, but a lot of times the Bronx gets a bad rap, as you know. But I tell people, I said, you think the Bronx is bad? Try and buy a house there. The Bronx, it gets a bad. It's a beautiful place. Van Cortlandt Park. Obviously, there are some areas that attracted some bad attention, but really, the Bronx is a gorgeous, historic area of New York.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Bronx, irrespective of its aesthetics, I think it's a fine place. I think it definitely cultivates people with a significant amount of grit. And that is characteristic of people who grow up in the Bronx. There is tenacity, and and a sense of wonder and relentlessness. That I think is special of folks who have come from the Bronx, and I have a natural proclivity to love Bronx people because they usually are very, very straight to the point.
I love it. I appreciate that.
Kind of unfiltered and kind, but unfiltered.
I still keep in touch with a lot of friends from the Bronx just because I love their view, the way they see the world.
And there's this swagger to Bronx people that I appreciate.
New York has it, but then the Bronx has it even more so, I think.
So it's very Bronx people are very New York. It's like it's a borough, so it's people in Manhattan. A lot of them are come through transit. We call them
right, but, or the bridge and tunnel, right from
yes. But the people from the boroughs and the Bronx is the most of them in terms of people who grew up there, and I think have a special charm.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'm just biased.
No. I'm saying it. I have experience with people from the Bronx. I know a lot of friends from the Bronx, and you're right. There's a special. If people from New York have a special grit, as you said. Well, the Bronx just turns it up to level 11.
We try.
Great. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time because I know there's so much going on over here, but I know that you've been to some big places here in Spain, Barcelona, Madrid, but I know your list is long of places you'd like to visit.
Yes.
What's next on your list?
So I recently had traveled to Andalusia for a very quick trip to visit our U.S. presence there. And I have traveled there in the past as a tourist, and I really love it. I'm looking forward to going back, maybe for Semana Santa. I really think it's beautiful, and I love the culture, the history, the things that grow there.
Sure.
So I think that may be I'm going to have to go back there and spend some proper time.
Excellent. Because it can't all be business. You got to go for pleasure and enjoy the regions as well, and enjoy all the lovely food. As you said, the gastronomy. There's so much that I always say the United States has everything. So does Spain, but in a very small area. I feel very lucky here because we have deserts. We have every scenery you could possibly imagine. So, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I want to say goodbye with a song from somebody else from the Bronx. Somebody who reminded me a little bit of you.
J-Lo, I heard.
J-Lo, and she's still, no matter where she goes, she's still Jenny from the Bronx. And I think the same about you. No matter where you go, you're still from the Bronx. You have that grit. That's what made you, the first question I asked you, fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves. And I think it's lovely. Keep up the great work.
Yes, thank you. And J-Lo is a testament to just a woman who really has made it big and redefined a successful female entertainer. And God bless her. She's
an ambassador in her own way.
She works like no one's business. So that says a lot of who she is.
It reminded me of you, so there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, here is J-Lo, Jenny from the block.